Radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network.
All right. Welcome, Fade to Black. How you doing? Today is Tuesday, July 15th, 2025. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Let's do this, man. Yeah, we are back. And this week on Fade to Black, it's going to be amazing. Last night, Dr. Tracy Fanara was with us talking about Gaia theory. What an amazing conversation last night. Tonight, Scott Wolter is back with us. We're going to be talking about the Lewis and Clark secret vault. Tomorrow night, Dr. Heather Lynn was scheduled for the show, and she had to reschedule. But tomorrow night, we've got Preston Dennett with us, filling in. Always amazing when Preston is here. So tomorrow night, Preston Dennett will be with us. And then Thursday night, Christopher Jordan is here talking about who is the citizen scientist. Well, the citizen scientist is you. And that is Thursday night on the show. So we've got another amazing week here on Fade to Black. I have one major event coming up, and it is the Sci Games, which is August 1st through the 3rd, 2025 in Charlottesville, Virginia. We have a promo code for you to use for tickets. It is Jimmy CPG20, and that promo code is in the description box below, but you can use that promo code for discounts on tickets. There still are some available. All right, so I'll see you out there on the East Coast in Charlottesville, Virginia at the end of this month. It's going to be exciting. Yeah, coming up in just 2 short weeks, Charlottesville, Virginia. All right. Yeah, I had something I was going to say. I can't remember. Oh, the Emmys were announced. And the show that got the most Emmy nominations, I've been talking to you about it since its premiere, and it's called The Studio. And if you haven't seen it, it's on Apple TV. Severance is high up there too as well. No, I think Severance got the most nominations, and The Studio was number 2. I think, I can't remember, but both series, both on Apple TV, oddly enough, got the most nominations, and The Studio is so good. And if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. All right. Also the White Lotus, very deserving of all of its nominations too as well. So it's going to be a pretty good Emmy year. It shows that I watch are actually nominated. Pretty cool. All right. Tonight, Scott Wolter is back with us. I've called the show Lewis and Clark Secret Vault. He just got back from a research trip, chasing all of this down. So we're going to be talking about that tonight. And there's always an open conversation with Scott, and it tends to go where it goes, and it's always fun. So he is back, but we have the suspicious death of Meriwether Lewis and all of the hidden history behind their expedition. And tonight we're going to talk about that evidence of a secret vault and what it looks like on the inside. What did he see? All that stuff. Oh, I'm going to get that out of Scott. And yeah, that's the conversation. Now, he's best known, of course, for being the host of History Channel's America Unearthed, but he's got all of his books, all of his research, his blog spot. The links for everything are below, and his website. And I would like to welcome back to Fade to Black, the one and only, the guy who professionally loses at cards, Scott Wolter. He's right there.
You're
Scott.
funny. You're funny.
Oh, I'm serious. I'm serious. Yeah, tip the camera down just a bit more.
Okay, how's that? I want to make sure that Templar cross is in the crosshairs there, but they can.
Well, you should sit on a phone book.
How's that?
Yeah. No, tip the camera down. You can't be like this, Scott. The Templar cross is cool. See, we would rather see your beautiful face.
How's this?
Better. Okay. Now,
All
see, we did all of this in sound check. I had Scott sit closer. I did all. I'm going to tell everybody what sound check is like around here with Scott. This is sound. Hold on. This is sound.
Your head.
This is sound check. Okay, everybody, look at me. That's sound check. That's what I go through. Hey, Scott, welcome back, man. And it seems like forever since I've seen you, but it's only because we hang out all year long.
That's right.
But I miss you, man. And I don't know. We don't have anything on the books. We've got stuff for 2026, but we don't have anything left this year for us to hang out.
You're not coming on the England tour, right?
Man, I don't know. Am I?
I don't know.
My schedule is so insane because I fly every single weekend, right? I'm out. And I come back into town and do Fade to Black, and I swear it's like this. It's okay, and I check my phone for my flights to see where I'm going to be the next weekend. It's like that, man.
I know, but listen, you're hot property. You're in demand. You are Jimmy Church, right?
I'm not complaining at all. It's so much fun, and I'm so blessed and everything. Yeah, for sure. But it is starting to get a little blurry. It's starting to get a little blurry.
Yeah, but you're a pro. They tell you where to go. You show up and you dial in and you knock it out of the park every time. And that's not everybody can do that, Jimmy. And I don't mean to blow sunshine up your skirt here, but you do a great job. And that's why you're so good at emceeing. You can just get up in front of a crowd and you can make everybody feel special. But the thing about you, Jimmy, there are a lot of people that can get up there and say nice things about people, and it sounds like sunshine. But when you do it, I don't know how you do it. It comes across as genuine and sincere. And,
because it is.
Well, it is.
Yeah,
that's the reason.
Sure.
That's the reason, because the people you're talking about, first of all, you really do know. And second of all, you know them well. And you're speaking from the heart. And I appreciate that about you, man. And I'm not trying to blow sunshine, because we get after you plenty, but you are a pro, and I appreciate what you do, and so does everybody else that's listening. So just keep doing it.
I appreciate that, Scott, and coming from you, because we are really close and everything, but that does mean a lot. And here, it's something that I've come to grips with, which is people watch the show and have learned from it. And this has gone on for many, 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 many years. This isn't something that is 1 year or 2 years old. It's been going on for a long time. And so they have built up a relationship with me.
It's called trust.
Yeah. And I totally feel that. When we did that last event together last month, a couple months ago.
In Wisconsin,
which was just Mel wrote me today, and she's just wonderful, and her family, and what a great event that was. But she asked me to get up on, I think it was Friday night. I think I spoke on Friday night, and I said, yeah, sure, I'll do that. And to see that room, and that was a big room, standing room only. You were there. You were right there, heckling from the front row, and did a damn fine job.
Thank you very much.
To have everybody there, you could feel the focus and the anticipation, and I'm just like, man, this is my family. This is so wonderful, because everybody in there is there because of this family relationship thing that is built up over the years. And I feel that, man. I really do. I'm so thankful. There's so many things that could be said about what you just said. And I guess it comes down to I've built up credibility, which is a hard thing to do, and to be in that position of having people ask and request and do it's because of this credibility factor that's built up over the years, and that's where you just got to step back and say that's the reality of it. And it's really true. It's not luck. It's not free. It's not winning the lottery. It's not any of that. It's a lot of hard work, but it's the trust that is built up around. And yeah, I'm fully appreciative of it. And you've done the same thing though. Now, not to go return blowing smoke, but
mind a little smoke.
I'm not going to, I'm not going to reciprocate, but I'll say this. From the very beginning, you and I, starting things off together, you have always ruffled feathers. You discuss things that are uncomfortable for a lot. And I used to, it doesn't happen as much anymore, but I used to get a lot of email about you. People writing and going, oh, you know what, man? And I just ignored it. And the reason why is because I'm just listening to the evidence and your research, and that's what everybody else should do. Nobody has when I say nobody has the facts, because none of this were there. What we have is evidence, and that's different. Right? Evidence is different. If you're in court, Scott, if you're in court and you're being charged with a bank robbery or murder or bank fraud, whatever it is, right? Well, nothing is really fact. What is presented is evidence. And then the jury, or if there's no jury and it's just a judge, they look at the evidence and then make a decision. And that's what we should do with all of this, right? Just look at the evidence. What do you think? And that's where you are. And isn't that the way that everybody should just accept this reality that we're in? Just look at the evidence and what do you think?
Jimmy, that's easy for us both to say. And it's something that we both do. But it's not something that everybody does. And it's not that they can't do it. They're just not used to doing it. And the other thing that I wanted to say something, you brought up something that reminded me to say this. And I said it before my lectures, some of the times when I'm talking about things that potentially could make people feel uncomfortable. And you mentioned that I ruffle a lot of feathers because the facts and the things that I talk about don't always fit with everybody's personal narratives. But I do want to just say one thing, that when I talk about these things, I just want people to understand that I am not here to try to offend anybody. But we also have to understand when you're talking about faith and religion, that is one discussion that's over here. And when you're talking about science, facts, and real life, that's a different discussion, and that's over here. And you can't mix the two. And so what I say to people is I'm going to be talking about this. And I am absolutely not here to try to attack your faith, try to attack your belief systems. I'm just asking you to be a scientist for a second and hear me out, because I'm not trying to offend you. And then I ask people, I say, you okay with that? And everybody says, yeah, I'm cool with that. And then what I say is, okay, well, if you get offended from here on, it's your own fault. So let's get after it. Let's do it. I'm not here to piss anybody off. I'm trying to get to the truth, and that's it.
If anybody's got thin skin, right, and they have issues, come play cards with Scott and I, and let's see if you survive a round of cards. How many people have we seen come up and watch us play and see what's going on and walk away going, man, I'm not doing that. That ain't me.
But you know something? It's interesting you bring that up because, on the tours that we do with Haley and even when we're just getting together with friends, and we play cards. It's interesting to see people's personalities because
Oh
it
man,
comes out. It
the
comes
true
out.
shit comes out. The true shit. Yeah,
They're all terrible losers. Of course, I'm the worst loser
You're
of all.
the worst.
You're pretty
Yeah,
bad
you're the
too,
worst.
I might say. But isn't it interesting how you can really see people's personalities come out?
Yeah.
They don't realize they're doing it.
The mask comes off. I have set. So what I'm referring to, so everybody knows, we don't have to name names or anything, but we've got 5, 6 of us that have played cards in multiple countries together, and that's what we do. And we don't invite people to come and play. Some people try to weasel their way in, and it's just uncomfortable even for us. And so, but anyway, the point being that we have our circle. That's it. The circle is closed. There's no invitations to jump in the car with us, but the gloves come off and we don't hold back. And it's a joyous. We do this, everybody. You got to understand, conference ends at 10. We're playing cards still at 3 a.m.
I know. It's crazy. No, it's a lot of fun. And I don't see this tradition ending anytime soon. So let's.
How many bars have stayed open for us?
Well, some of the people that are serving us drinks want to play. And
I know. It's so much fun. But
join
okay,
the pack unless you're invited.
But and here is the other part about that, and one of the reasons why I'm talking about this is you get to know people, and our friendship and our bond goes pretty deep. And so what that allows you and I to do is to have a real conversation. So tonight, when people are sitting in and listening to us talk, it's 2 friends going back and forth that trust each other. And this is a real conversation. This isn't some person inviting Scott on the show because he is who he is and they don't know each other, and it's going to be the generic bullshit that usually goes back and forth, or you wanting to come on somebody else's show because they are who they are, but there isn't a genuine back and forth. It is going to be very generic. You guys are still testing the waters. We've tested all the waters that we can possibly test. And you know, our friendship has never been in danger, but shit, it could have been a couple of times. I whipped your ass.
Yeah, but you know what? I
don't like losing either. Oh, Scott has taken
up with you when it was my turn, and you know what? It goes both ways, and that's the fun part about it. If you kick my butt, believe me, I'm coming back just as hard, man.
Nobody wants to lose, man. Nobody. It's brutal. All right, so let's talk about this trip.
Okay.
So you went to Montana.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And in search of this lost vaults and the Lewis and Clark expedition. Which I want to actually start there. But let me ask you this. When you got inside of the vault, was it obvious that nobody was there before, or had somebody already been inside the vault?
You know, this is one of the things that I love about you, Jimmy, is you ask questions that already assume that there's an answer that you want. And unfortunately, I can't do that. So what I'm going to tell you is I was there with actually some members of our pack. I
know, and I got all the inside information from them already.
Oh,
but here's, of course I did. Of course I did. But Scott.
I just busted your ass, right?
Yeah, you did, and you can make the phone call later. But the question is an honest one.
No,
were you the first, or was somebody else there before you?
Let's just say, well, I certainly wasn't the first to be in this area. This group that I was with, we were not the first ones to be in this area. In fact, what we saw when we were there was evidence that people had been there in the past, had done some pretty extensive diggings, but they were digging in the wrong spot. That I will tell you. And I really want to be careful because I don't want to give away too much, because you have to understand, first and foremost, I am part of this tradition, and I am bound by certain things that I can and cannot say. And so I want to be very careful about giving away any information that may tip people off.
Okay, we won't give away the location, but
Right.
What is interesting here is you said that they were digging in the wrong spot, but you found the right spot. How far away were they from the correct spot? Half mile, quarter mile?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's fair enough.
I will say they were within a half mile. I will say they were within a half mile.
And so you continue on. I don't know if this is mountains or flatlands or anything, but
this is in the mountains. This is way up high, near the divide. And of course, that's not giving much away because the divide goes for hundreds of miles, actually.
Mm-hmm.
This is at a very high elevation, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's stunning. The views at this location. It was chosen for a reason. It was chosen for a number of reasons, but it's absolutely stunning. And I will say this, Jimmy, one of the things that was a warning, I think, in a way, is I actually went up there 2 days in a row. And the second day I flew the drone in the area, but on the way up the first day, we got all the way up to the top. We had to go on a hike to get to the location. And then when we came back, my right front tire was flat. And we are way the hell up in the mountains. So we had to change the tire and get the spare, put it on. And then we went down, and in the morning, I got my tire changed. Later that day, we went back up again to fly the drone. And when I came back to the car, I swear to God, that same tire that had just been fixed was flat again, 2 days in a row. And I got it fixed. I went down the next morning again, and the tear in the tire on the inside was this long, and it was jagged. And the guy that was fixing it said, "Man," he said, "I'm afraid to fix this again because I'm afraid it's just going to blow on you. You could be going 80 miles an hour down the highway." And he said, "You don't want that." So I had to buy a new tire. But I think that there is some symbolism there. There is also a warning that this place is not easy to get to. Even if you know exactly where you're going. I mean, it was rugged. This is, and I have a 4-wheel drive Toyota Tacoma, and it goes just about anywhere. And it was pushing back. And a couple of times on day 2, we tried a different route up, and it was.
So you were driving your black Tacoma,
Toyota,
your regular.
yes.
Yeah. That's a nice truck, man.
Yeah. And
it's set up to do things. Well, I wanted to ask you.
It's tough.
Yeah, it is. TRD. When it's called a vault, is it what does vault mean? Or is it a cave?
Well, a vault implies something that's been constructed by a human hand. Okay.
Right.
Does that help?
Yeah. Okay. Now
it's not, I will tell you this, it's not a natural cave system.
Okay. It's not. So it's a man-made vault.
Yes.
In the mountains.
Yeah.
Was it marked on the outside?
It was marked, but not directly.
What do you mean?
Well, it's not like, you get over to a spot and there's a little hatch there that says open here, secret vault here. There are signs, and I'm not trying to be coy. I'm not trying to be, talk with Masonic doublespeak, but there are signs, symbols, and tokens that are in the area that will lead you to the spot. And I can't tell you what those are, but if I told you, you would understand immediately.
Yeah. We can move on from that. Don't worry about it. So it's man-made.
Yep.
And when you walked up to it, is it a door? Is it rocks that are built up? How is it sealed?
There are, well, you're making the assumption that I went in there.
Well, you didn't say you didn't.
And I didn't say I did.
So I'm going the other way.
Okay.
I'm going the correct way. but so when you went up though, I'm being very serious.
Yep.
Was it walled in? I'm thinking like King Tut's tomb, and how that was sealed with the rope seal on the front and all of that. Was it like that?
No. The ornateness was not part of why the vault was put there. It was put there to protect certain sacred objects from antiquity that the Templars brought over to North America. And one of the items I can tell you is an Ark of the Covenant. It's not the Ark of the Covenant. It's one of the Arks of the Covenant. And there are many Arks.
Right. Did you take the Ark with you? Or did you leave it?
It didn't fit in the back of my pickup. So
well, how big was it? Well, hold on, Scott. Hold on. With the measurements from the Ark that's in the Bible, we have a size. But the representations of the other Arks that I have seen and you have seen, they don't seem as big. I mean, they wouldn't be. So the Ark that's in this vault, was it the same size as the biblical Ark, or was it smaller?
I can neither confirm or deny how big it was. But the Arks come in different sizes. It's not like there's a standard size. They weren't pumping these things out back in antiquity like an assembly line. Each one was uniquely made, and they are of different sizes. But the ones that you've seen, like for example, when we do certain Masonic rituals in the Scottish Rite and in the York Rite, there are times when we have replications of the Ark of the Covenant and other sacred treasures that were in the Sanctum Sanctorum of the Temple of Jerusalem. And, the Ark, that particular Ark is probably about maybe 3.5 feet long, maybe almost 2 feet wide by maybe, 20 inches deep. And then it's got, the angels with their wings pointing inward. So they are about that size.
And all of that is on the lid. So the Ark that is in the Lewis and Clark secret vault is smaller than the biblical Ark, but on the lid, did it have the angels with the wings pointed at each other?
You're asking these questions that I can't answer them in the way that you're asking them, because that implies something that I haven't said yet.
Well, I mean, if you said I didn't see the Ark and I didn't go in the cave, then we're not going to go there. But you didn't say that, so we're going to stay there. Was it? I mean, because people have a vision, so do I, of what is an Ark. So how about if we just back up for a second and talk about something that is interesting, that is been very very helpful. Now, I don't know their names because I can't remember their names, but I met these guys at the Cosmic Summit last month. The guys that did the work, the geophysical work that located the vertical shafts underneath the pyramid. The SARS.
That technology.
SARS, yes.
They have offered to help us locate things like secret vaults by using this technology. They want to work with us. So there are other projects that we want to work on that would be similar to locating something like the Ark that's in the vault that's in Montana. There's another one in Washington, D.C. And so we're going to talk to them about employing this technology to help us find some other things. We know roughly where they are, but we want to pinpoint exactly where they are so that when the time comes to enter them and retrieve what is going to be coming out. We want to just go right there, get the job done, get in, get out, and then talk to the world about it.
Well, with why the reference of this being called the Lewis and Clark secret vault, did Lewis and
why
Clark
is it
know?
called
No.
Okay.
No, it is called that. The question is, was that part of their expedition that they knew of this vault and they were going to go and find it?
Absolutely. And it's not they. It was just Lewis. Lewis was the only one that knew about the vault. He was the only one. Well, between he and Clark was not a Freemason at the time of the expedition. He became a Freemason a couple of years after that. So on the way back in 1806, in July of 1806, Lewis, with 9 other members of the expedition who were all Freemasons, and it's interesting that the number of 10, if you include Meriwether Lewis, that's an interesting number in Freemasonry. It's the number of perfection that is only achieved upon death, but that's a whole nother discussion. But what he did was they separated from Clark for 6 weeks, and they went up over the mountains in this area. And yes, that was his job, was to check on the secret vault to make sure that everything was there and that everything was intact. And it was at the time. Curiously, there are 4 pages of Lewis's journal from those very days that he was up there at the secret vault are conveniently missing. So what happened to those pages? Did he tear them out? Were they taken from his journal when he was murdered? Now, the other thing that a lot of people don't know is that Meriwether Lewis was on his way to meet with Thomas Jefferson, and they were going to talk mouth to ear about what he saw at the secret vault. He wasn't going to put it in a letter. He wasn't going to, communicate any other way than in person. And while he was making his way to Washington, he was killed at Natchez Trace. And I think the reason that he was killed had a lot to do with the secret vault.
Where's Natchez Trace?
I think it's in Tennessee, but I can't remember. We did an episode about this on my show, America Unearthed, several years ago, but it's been a lot of years ago now. I don't recall the details. But one thing I do remember is that we did talk to descendants of Meriwether Lewis who said, yes, you have our permission to exhume his body, to do a new autopsy, to see if anything can be learned from his mortal remains. Now, he's buried in a national park. And when we contacted the National Park Service, they denied our request, even though the Lewis family was on board with it, which begs the question, what are they worried about?
Well, what were you hoping to find?
Well,
was he buried with his Freemason apron? I mean, what is it that you
probably, yeah. I mean, there's, you might remember in that episode, we went
didn't you show the cabin with, I remember that episode.
Yeah.
And they had his Freemason belt on display, or what do you call that?
No, it's called an apron. It's Masonic apron.
It is an apron, the Masonic apron.
Yeah.
And didn't they have it on display in that cabin?
Well, no, not in a cabin. It was in a museum, a Masonic museum in Helena, Montana. I think it was in their lodge. And we filmed a scene at the Capitol building, which we also visited on this trip. And it was fantastic. I mean, my God, you talk about opulence. That building, they put a lot of money into it, but they had a lot of money at the time. The gold rush was going on. There was lots of gold found in Montana, and that's why a lot of people got rich. But when we did tested the apron, you might remember, they allowed me to take samples of the blood stains on his Masonic apron. And then we sent it off for testing. And it turns out that there were 3 different profiles, individuals' blood that was on that apron. And I'm going by memory, and please forgive me if I'm incorrect. I could be. I know there were 2 that were human. I think there was one other one that was animal. but the fact that there were two different individuals' blood stains on that apron suggests that maybe something else happened when Lewis supposedly shot himself. And the thing about it is that's so crazy is that if you go on and read it, the gun that he used supposedly to kill himself with takes about 5 minutes to reload.
Mhm.
And first he shot himself in the stomach. Now, if you're going to kill yourself, Jimmy, why
No,
would you
you're not doing it there. No,
you're not
no,
gonna shoot
no,
yourself in
no,
the
no.
stomach? And plus, it may kill you, but it's going to take days and you're going to suffer terribly. And then he reloaded the gun and then he shot himself in the head,
Yeah.
supposedly or allegedly.
Right.
I don't buy that for a second.
No. And I had heard, maybe you can confirm this, that the third spot of blood was Bigfoot. Can you?
Jimmy, that we were saving that for a follow-up episode. You just blew the whole story. Thanks.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, why animal blood? Well, see, to have somebody else's blood on the apron says a lot of weird things. It doesn't point to somebody taking their own life, unless, I mean, if that's what, somebody else accidentally got shot at the same time and there was blood splatter back onto the apron,
or maybe there was a scuffle. Maybe that other.
Yes, well, that's what for sure. That
To me seems to be the most logical thing that makes sense to me. I mean, obviously there's other scenarios that you can come up with, but what fits the facts the best in this case? And I think that the fact that the government will not allow us to exhume his body and have an autopsy done speaks volumes, because maybe, somewhere there is information about this they don't want to get out, that there are larger forces at work here. And we know there's larger forces at work, especially with this story. So
now, who would want to staying on this for a second? Let's just paint a picture. So he wants to go and have a sit down with Jefferson.
Yep.
And he wants this to be verbal. He doesn't want the paper trail.
Right.
All right. Because this is very sensitive stuff. I get all of that. But who would want to stop Meriwether Lewis from having that conversation? And who else would know that that's what Meriwether Lewis was going to do? So that's where we get into the Sherlock Holmes side of this. Who would want to stop this conversation?
Well, first and foremost, agents of the Roman Catholic Church.
But how? Okay, yeah, that's obvious.
Okay,
but how would they know about the expedition? How would they know that they went to the vault?
A lot of people knew about the expedition at the time.
The expedition to the vault?
Or not to the vault. They knew about the expedition that Lewis and Clark were on. And I'm sure that there was some information, certainly after they got back, about where they went. And for all we know, that there could be, some undercurrent of information prior to the expedition, because obviously Lewis didn't just decide one day, I'm going to go check on the secret vault. He knew before the expedition that he was going to do that at some point on that voyage or on that expedition. And it was going to be on the way back when they had pretty much completed, the bulk of what they intended to do. But the most important thing that Lewis had to do was to check on that vault. And, it was going to be almost 3 years later when he was killed that, that Jefferson was going to get the information. Now, I personally believe, I haven't looked at the letters. I don't know what Lewis may have written in letters that he did send to Jefferson, but I suspect there was some type of coded information where he let Jefferson know that, yes, the vault is there. 2, everything is safe. And, whether he opened it or not, and I don't know what he did, but I got to believe that he gave Jefferson some coded information that was necessary. It's there. It's okay. I mean, that alone tells Jefferson a lot of what he needs to know. That the details were going to be told, as I said, mouth to ear. They just never got together because he was taken out. And
now between Meriwether Lewis,
yeah,
and you and the other 9, I should say, right?
Yeah.
And you, do you think anybody else has been to the vault in between?
Well, I know the indigenous people have. The indigenous people are the ones that told us where it was.
Undisturbed. The reason why I'm asking, the contents of the vault, have they remained unmolested, or is that side of it untouched?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
It's untouched. That's the way it appeared to you.
Yeah. Now, let's just back up for a second. Ready? I've been working with the runestone. I've been talking about Templars in America for many years now. And one of the things that I try to emphasize when I talk about this, because at first a lot of people go, what do you mean? There were Templars here before Columbus. What are you talking about? Yeah, yes, there were. For hundreds of years before Columbus, the Templars were coming over here. But this is the part that people don't fully understand, and I don't think fully appreciate, is that, when the Vikings came over, going back to the 8th century, 9th century, 10th century, all the way up to the year 1050 or 60, whenever the last Viking settlements were in North America. They did not do very well here because they did not treat the indigenous people with proper respect. They basically were jerks. And so, according to the Algonquins, they told me in a sweat lodge that basically they went to their historical enemies, the Iroquois nations. They sat down in council and they said, look, we got these white people that are here. We can't trade with them. They're treating our people disrespectfully. I just don't, sooner or later, you're going to have to deal with them. So they said they went up there and they wiped them out. So that was why, according to the indigenous people, the Viking experiment, if you will, ended. But less than 50 years after that, the first Templars began to come over here, but they were different.
Well, they were. I mean, look at what, let's just look at history. The Vikings would invade and take your shit.
Yeah.
That was their method of operation. The Vikings made it to Paris.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that the Vikings invaded Paris.
And they went farther than that, to the east and to the south.
That's right. With one thing, not to make friends, right? Not to sign peace treaties.
To take people's stuff and
go back home. Yeah.
Go back home with the wealth. And,
yeah.
There's something to be said for that if you can overwhelm people. But when they came over to this continent, you're talking about millions of indigenous people that were living here. We don't fully know the numbers that were here at that time, but it was a hell of a lot more than the Vikings had. And because they couldn't, get along, basically the natives said, screw you. And they overwhelmed them and wiped them out. But the Templars were different. They came over here and they respected the indigenous people. They also bonded at a very deep spiritual level through ritual. A lot of people don't understand that Native Americans practice Freemasonry just like we do as Freemasons today. And just
that's not the big question, though. You know what the big question is?
What?
Why aren't the Minnesota Vikings as vicious as what they're named after?
Where the hell did that come from? By the way, hold on, time out. You open that door, pal. I'm walking in, okay? I'm walking in right now with the best freaking squad we have had in years. We have upgraded our offensive line, our defensive line. We re-signed Harry the Hitman, and our offensive line is, basically was the Colts offensive line, but the wild card is JJ McCarthy. But what I'm hearing from people I know on the inside is this kid is going to be a winner. He's like another, I've heard the words Tom Brady said about him. He's a leader. He's a competitor. He's supposed to be extremely smart. And if you want to lay a bet down right now on my squad winning at least 12 games this year, I'll take that bet. What do you say, buddy?
I think the safe bet for you is that to end the season above 5th place in your division.
We've only got 4 teams in our division, dude.
Okay. There's only 4 teams in your division. Okay, so that would be the bet. Above 4th place. Above 4th place.
In that coffee like you do when we're playing cards?
Well, at least, you know what I appreciate, Scott, is that your support for the team is steadfast. That's what I appreciate no matter what. Scott and I, we could be in Madagascar. Okay. Madagascar, roaming the beach, looking at the lemurs and whatever, and having a good time. And Scott's like, Vikings playing 30 minutes. We got to find a bar.
Oh my God.
I'm like, dude, we're in Madagascar, man. We're in Malta. We're in Malta. What do you mean? Dude,
you have to set your priorities, Jimmy. You know how many times I've been sitting at these beautiful dinners over in Europe, and you know, I've got my phone.
I've seen Vikings it happen, man.
While people are sipping champagne, and I'm like,
I know.
Shit, they sacked our quarterback.
I mean, we're standing in the King's. We're standing in the King's chamber, and Scott's like, "Man, I gotta go. I gotta go. It's the season opener."
Remember, okay? I mean, seriously, one of my best friends, my 2 best friends in the world, Bruce Grant. His father was Bud Grant. He coached the Vikings to 4 Super Bowls. I knew Bud personally very well.
I've heard this story 100 times.
I know, but your guests may not have heard it.
Yeah, 100. I've got to sit through this. I got to just go.
I have suffered since I was 11 years old when we lost that first Super Bowl, but it's going to happen. And this could be the year. You heard it here first. Jimmy, write it down.
Oh, anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, Lewis and Clark. That's right. Okay, so back to Lewis and Clark. My bad. You're
the one that brought it up, pal.
Yeah, I did. I could keep this going. See, here when I was growing up in Chicago, and I had Larry Zonka's like niece in my 4th grade class, and I'll never forget him showing up at the door one day in 4th grade. So, but I was never a Bears fan. I was a Vikings fan. Why? The helmets, the look, the color purple. Yeah. There was something for me as a kid. Now I'm talking about 1970. And I went through the Purple People Eaters years. I went through the Fran Tarkington years. I went through all of that heartbreak and all of that. So I totally get it. And then I decided to just abuse myself some more and become a Colts fan. And it's been just as bad being a Colts fan. So I get it. I totally get your heartbreak and pain. You just keep your support in the right place, and always, you know what being a Vikings fan is like? Hoping for disclosure.
And everybody says, "Oh, it's coming. It's right here.
It's this year."
No.
This year is the year of disclosure. I can feel it. It's coming. I sound like a Vikings fan. Okay, yeah. So anyway, but the mystery behind all of this, obviously being a Freemason, but somebody has to give Lewis the information about the location and the fact that you are at some point on your trip to the West, either coming or going, you're going to go and visit this vault, check on it, and report back to us. Who would have done that? Because this is like the most secret of secrets, maybe on planet Earth, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure what the biggest secret is. I think it has more to do with disclosure. But Yeah.
The
I mean,
location of an ark is a big deal.
well, that's true, but you have to understand that these traditions have been around for millennia, and the tradition continues to this day. I'm part of that tradition, and I take my responsibilities very seriously as a Templar, and so I'm also walking, standing on the shoulders and walking in the footsteps of people that came before me that did some really difficult and often dangerous work. So we treat this, in all seriousness with the sacredness that it deserves and the respect that it deserves. And as I was saying before, when the Templars came over here, they bonded with the natives through ritual, Freemasonry, and intermarriage. And they formed a deep spiritual bond. They were the opposite of the Vikings, and they were able to go anywhere they wanted on the continent. My God, they traveled with their brothers. And basically what the natives said is, look, gold and silver and all these fancy objects, they mean nothing to us. But if they mean something to you, you are our brothers. We will guard and protect these articles for you, if that's what you want us to do. And that's
it's very important
what they did.
Scott, is the vault on Indian land? Is it on federal land? Is it state park land?
Let me just say this, it's not on private property.
So I'll pay for it. Let's take a film crew and a full production up there and get into this thing.
You're not the first person that's made that offer.
But nobody's serious like me, and nobody's got funding.
Well,
and I could make the whole thing happen.
Well, why don't we have that conversation when we're not when we don't?
So
have
is it a possibility? Is the door cracked open for something like that?
Metaphorically, yes, absolutely. And more importantly than that, Jimmy, you know how you mentioned that it was time for disclosure? And actually, that statement is more true than you realize. And I know you know this already, but 2025 is one of those years when the whole precessional cycle is supposed to end with Pisces and begin with Aquarius. Now, the Mayan calendar ended in 2012, but other calendars are ending now. And that's one of the reasons why some people believe disclosure is going to happen. And that's one of the reasons why our tradition is now ready to reveal some of the things that have been hidden.
So let's do it.
Let's do it. Well,
I mean,
all I can tell you is going up there and doing what we did is sort of getting the ball rolling, right? It's kind of like, think of it this way. It's like the national anthem before the game starts.
Somebody just said, if you show Jimmy the vault, hold on, check this out. If you show Jimmy the vault, he's going to go in, just letting you know.
Well, if he goes in, he may not come out. How about that?
Well, I can tell you this much. That arc may be cracked a couple of times, but I'm going to get it out of there.
Well,
it may not be in the same state.
Jimmy, it'll be you. I know that.
You know, the moment, let's if you look at Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford, right, and you watch Raiders of the Lost Ark, you watch the movie and you plod through it. It's a great movie, but only for the scene. You're only the scene, right? We're down there, and finally, and there's the ark and the magic and the things and faces getting burnt off. But the point is, people want to know about this.
Yeah.
This is a really, really, really big deal.
It is a big deal. That's why it has to be handled very carefully.
Well, are you capable of that? I am.
How am I doing?
Not so good.
I think I'm doing pretty damn good because
all right.
Jimmy, you are the master of, you know what you would have been great at? You would have been
trial judge,
prosecuting attorney.
Yeah, prosecuting attorney. Yeah, yes, for sure.
Yes,
for sure.
Because you ask questions.
Yeah, for
basically,
sure.
with the answer embedded within it. And all you need is for the person to just step up and pick up that, silver dollar laying on the ground that you put there. And you'd be great at that, Jimmy. The only problem is I probably spent more time in court being grilled by those types of guys than you realize. So I know those questions.
Yeah. If I haven't learned something by now, but I do it for the audience, not because I care about the audience.
Yes, you do. Stop that.
No, no, I care about me. So the show is for me, and the questions are for me. And if the audience is listening, then they get the same information that I am after. Mm-hmm. If I asked questions that I thought the audience wants, that's a boring show. And I'm not demeaning the audience at all, but that's not the point of all of this. I can't concern myself with the thoughts of others or what concern. No, but my concerns are generally the same. All right. So I don't care, Scott, if I am in a car with 3 or 4 people and I've got somebody that I'm talking to and they are being evasive, they don't have any idea who the fuck is asking them questions. Because I will get it out of them 100%. Mm-hmm. And I will watch their reaction. And I don't need to go direct. There's a way to do all of this. If Absolutely. I need to find something out, I can do it. And you're right. I would be a great prosecutor. Yeah. I'd be a great prosecutor. For sure.
I feel like I'm on the witness stand right now, and you're but there's different ways. Sometimes people will go at somebody aggressively in a mean way to try to get them to emotionally react and spill the beans. But you do it in a different way. It's actually quite smart the way you do it. You sort of soften them up a little bit. You get them laughing, and especially if it's somebody you know well, and you just drop it on them, and they're having a great time, and all of a sudden they spill the beans, and 10 seconds later they go, "Oops."
You're good.
You're good. You're really good.
Man, I am on the same mission that everybody else is. I'm trying to get to these answers for these big questions, and I am so curious about it. And it comes down to, and we're going to head to a break here in about 60 seconds. Okay. Well, let me tell you what it comes down to. Once you experience anything that is not in the normal pace of things, when you experience that, no matter what it is, that there's something else going on. I'll give you an example. All right. And this is not, I'm using potty mouth with you tonight, Scott, but this is not bullshit. Last night on the show, I had Dr. Tracy Fanara on. She's amazing. She's just an amazing scientist. And we were talking about ghosts and things at the end of the show. The show was about climate change and Gaia Earth theory. But at the end of the show, we started talking about ghosts. And the show ends. And I swear, because I was talking to her last night about my soundproof studio. At the end of the show, when I take my headphones off, it's the cone of silence in here, right? It's dead. Everything is dead, right? Yeah. All the soundproof. So quiet. Anyway, so last night, you know what happened?
No.
I take my headphones off. And I was moving my mouse around and I clicked over here, right? I literally went like this in my chair and just like I kind of do every night, just right?
Yeah.
Sip of coffee. And at that moment, the loudest creaking sound just came out of nowhere. Like a rocking chair or a door, just like this. And it was loud. And it came from behind this monitor. Let me change cameras. Okay, I have a monitor. I have 3 cameras, right? But this is a big curved monitor here.
Yeah.
And so from this side over here, let me see if this camera, from this side over here, it was from behind it. And I thought it came from outside the house. But here's the deal. Right outside of the house, I have motion sensors right there. So there was nobody out there. I immediately checked my motion sensors. And then I said, what could, and I got up and I'm kind of freaked. And I get up and I moved all of the guitars that are hanging on the, not these guitars behind me, but these guitars over here.
Mhm.
I'm moving them. Nothing creaks. I moved that. I was like, what made that sound? And so I backed up and went, okay, whatever. Here's the deal. Once you experience something like that, that's all you need to know that there is something else to this reality. It's that simple. So I'm going to get to the bottom of all of this somehow. I don't know.
Some way. Well, you know what, Jimmy? One of the nights when we were out, in Montana, I was sitting in my camper and all of a sudden I heard the loudest crack and I saw a flash, and 60 feet from my camper, a lightning strike hit a tree and split it in half and sent bark flying everywhere. And you know how when you see lightning and then you count the seconds for how long it is till you hear the thunder? It was simultaneous. And I'll tell you what, I tensed up like I've never tensed up. It scared the crap out of me. And it was the day before we went and checked on the first time we checked on the secret vault. And it I don't know, maybe it was a sign, maybe it wasn't, but I'll tell you what, it got my attention. That's for sure.
Yeah. Last night. So I went, I shut the studio down and I'm walking in the kitchen to cook dinner. And it was like maybe 5 or 10 minutes after this creaking sound. By the way, this creaking sound was loud. It wasn't like off in the distance or anything. It was like loud and very distinct, just like this creaking, and it was loud. Anyway, I walked in the kitchen and I went, man, that was a good one. That was wow. All right. And I'm sitting there thinking about, what I'm about to cook and all of that. And even I've experienced a lot of stuff. I actually stood back and went, okay, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. I don't have an explanation for that. And that's why I do what I do, Scott. When you experience that stuff and there's nothing natural that can be explained, whatever it may be. It was pretty bizarre. Right after her and I were just talking about that. All right, let's take our break. Scott Wolter is our guest. I am your host, Fade to Black. Tonight we're talking about the Lewis and Clark secret vault that Scott just went and recently visited. I'm going to get more out of Scott when we come back. This is Fade to Black. Stay with us, everybody. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get your alerts and access to over 2,000 videos. Click that subscribe button right now. Go to jimmychurchradio.com and get the Fade to Black official podcast. 2,000 episodes, all of them commercial free for just $2 a month. Watch Into the Vortex on Gaia TV. It's Fade to Black for the screen. Simple to do. Go to Gaia.com, search Jimmy Church, or click on the link below. Follow Fade to Black on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Get all of the show updates every single day. It's now called X, but who cares? How you doing? Jimmy Church here. Special announcement. Get your Fade to Black t-shirts. That's right. Help support the show. Help support everything that we do over here. We've got 2 t-shirts. We've got 2 ways to get them. Get your Fade to Black t-shirt today. Go Backley Tappy. Go to jimmychurchradio.com and become a Fadernaut. Get a membership. That's right. Everything is commercial free. You have access to downloads, and you get to call yourself a Fadernaut. Jimmy Church Guy TV, Fade to Black, here at Machu Picchu with Brian Forster and Hidden Inca Tours. Amazing tour so far, Brian, but we're here to announce what we're going to do next year in 2026. What's going on?
Okay, November 2026, we're going to have our major tour of Peru and Bolivia, either a pre or post tour of Paracas and Nazca on the coast. And then after that, 6 days in Easter Island.
Bucket list, Easter Island. Come join Brian and I and his amazing team here at Hidden Inca Tours for Peru, Bolivia, and Easter Island. Signing out. Say goodbye, Brian.
Bye, gang.
River Moon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend. Truly the best coffee on planet Earth. Just visit rivermoonwellness.com or their Amazon store. It's all simple to do. You can check out the Fade to Black blend, the Game Changer blend, or any of their Black Moon Wellness products. It's the only coffee I drink. It is the best, and it's Doc. Again, rivermoonwellness.com. All right. Welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Scott Wolter is here. We're talking about the Lewis and Clark Secret Vault tonight here on the show. Scott is joining us. I assume you're in Minnesota, Scott.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. What is the evidence?
With my agates.
Oh, look at that.
Pretty,
Did you see the auction that is happening tomorrow of the largest Martian rock ever discovered here on Earth? It's going up for auction tomorrow. It's 54 pounds.
Yes, I did hear something like that about that. It was a meteorite that fell, right?
Yeah. I think they found it.
Speculate that came from Mars based on the geochemistry and the geology and all.
Yeah. I want to say Pakistan, something like that.
I didn't. I just saw a brief headline. I didn't read it though.
Yeah, 6. They're expecting the pre-auction bids that are in on it right now. I think it's up to almost $2 million. They're expecting it to sell for $6 million. Now you've got to be, somebody of that kind of position to purchase that. But how cool would that be to have in your living room? I mean, you've got a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, Scott.
I would love it. I would absolutely love it.
I want you to tell everybody about the evidence. Take a couple of minutes. I'm going to go get some artifacts really quick and bring them back. So,
talk about evidence of what?
Of the Lewis and Clark of this secret vault. What is the evidence that is being presented right now?
Okay. Well, I think what I'll do is I'll go back. Well, if you want to take off for a second, I will give people a little background about how I found out about the vault, and then how Tim Hogan found out about the vault, and what happened when we compared notes.
Take it away. The stage is yours. I'll be back in 60 seconds.
All right. No Jimmy zone for about 2 minutes. Here we go. So we have to go back about 15 years. I don't remember exactly what year it was, but I was up in Canada, and I was visiting with some of my Indigenous friends who are members of the Ojibwa tribe. And we were over by Peterborough. In fact, I was given a tour of the Peterborough petroglyphs in this beautiful white marble outcrop. They're just incredible. They now have a building over the top of it. But the shaman that we were with showed us the petroglyphs, and it was just amazing, and told us stories that you won't read in any books or hear from the tour guides. But anyway, we participated in a sweat lodge, and it was really just a fascinating experience. And we did it, they said, the old way. And we crawled in, we followed the track to the sun. We put the stones in the center, and we used cedar to spray water on them, and it just got hot. And it was about an hour and a half before it was my turn to speak. And then the medicine man said, "Scott, go ahead and ask your questions." And I said, "Well, what I would like to do is ask questions about the Knights Templar when they came over to North America." And he kind of interrupted me, didn't interrupt me, but he looked at me. Well, I think he looked at me. It was pretty dark in there. But he said, "Oh, you mean our blood brothers?" And the minute he said that, he answered the first question that I was going to ask, is about, did they in fact come over, and did your people have a relationship with them? And the answer is absolutely yes. He called them their blood brothers. And so at one point, we were talking about artifacts and things that were brought over from Europe and hidden over here. And that's a really extensive story that I'm going to talk about in great length in a brand new book I have coming out in about 1 month. But we talked about that. And then he mentioned that the Templars had brought artifacts out to far to the west in Montana. And so I started asking some more questions. And he said, if you go into that area, the indigenous people, in this case, the Blackfoot, who are, this was their territory at the time Lewis and Clark were there. I don't think that was their historical territory. I think it belonged to somebody else before that. But in any case, they're all connected. And he told us specific details about where we needed to go to find the vault. And then he told us what to look for. Now, I can't tell you because people will immediately start looking, and I'm not going to give any clues to give it away. But once I got the clues, I was actually able to find it pretty quickly on Google Earth. So that was what I was told. And I was given very specific clues about what to look for to find the vault. Now, Tim Hogan, who is the Grand Master of a tradition, Martinist tradition that I am a part of. And, Tim and I have done a lot of work together. We did a Gaia show together, 10 episodes of Mysteries of the Knights Templar. But this was several years prior to that. This is probably going back about 10 years. But Tim and I got together and we talked about the secret vault. He had also met with a different indigenous tribe that told him the exact same information that a tribe over in the eastern part of the country had told me, the Ojibwa. And in fact, he met the person who, the indigenous person with the Blackfoot that knew the secrets about the vault. And so Tim got actually the exact same information that I did. And it was incredible because when we compared notes, I'm like, are you kidding me? Well, this is what the Ojibwa told me. And, that was really, for me, that I don't know how you could make that up. There's no way that that's a coincidence. Of course, none of this is coincidence. So we compared notes, and but I had been up in that area prior to talking to Tim. A couple of years before Tim and I talked about the secret vault and the information that he had. So I'd been up there before, but I was looking in the wrong area. Tim gave me some additional details that actually the shaman that I was with had told me, but I did not get. He told it in a different way. But then when Tim explained it in simple language to me, all of a sudden I put it together and I realized the specific place where this was. And it just made perfect sense. And I remembered when I was there the last time, I walked right over it, but I didn't know it. So this time we knew where to go. So, but it was nice because we got, two different sources that are connected, but we're talking about 1,500 miles apart as the crow flies. And we both got essentially the same information from two different indigenous tribes.
How did they seal it? I mean, I that's the other question that I have. I mean, how was it sealed? I mean, was it meant to look natural so other people would just walk past it?
Yep. So the final closing of the vault was with shovels and rocks and dirt and covered up and make it look like, just look natural. I mean, obviously when they were there was nobody at the time when Lewis and Clark were there. There was nobody there to find, recent diggings, even if they did know where to look. So, but yeah, you just, the final touches are probably with a shovel and a few rocks to. Was it
easy for other people to walk past and not notice it?
Yep.
But then when you stop and look, then you can see.
No, you got to know where it is.
Well, yeah, but that's not the question. I'm saying that when you're standing in front of it, then it looked different.
No, it's right now. Even if I told you, go over there and it's going to be about you would not find it. Right now, you would not find it. Even if I told you where to go.
So did you cover it back up when you left? Did you leave it like it was when you found it?
Yes.
How much? How deep is the seal? Is it feet? Is it? And is there a door? Is there anything wood? I mean, you said it was man-made. No, I'm being very, 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 very serious. I mean, so is there like a door that's there, some kind of wooden structure, then they fill it in with earth over the top and then, brush it down and throw in a couple of trees and a fern and, a couple of potted plants from Lowe's and disguise it and then walk away?
Well, let me put it to you this way, Jimmy. When you're out there, I mean, the mountains in this area, the Rockies, are heavily wooded in areas, and then there's areas where it's wide open. In fact, I remember we were walking and we were looking at mountains in the distance, and where there weren't trees, it was just such a beautiful day. Where there weren't trees, there was like these fields, and it almost looked like mowed grass. It was just beautiful. But when you're walking in those areas in real life, the grass is, up halfway up your thighs, and it's not hard to walk through it, but it's pretty open and it's pretty clear. There'll be rock outcrops here and there. And then when you hit the woods, you're in the woods, and you're like in the woods, deep in the woods. And it's amazing how you have these large, forests that are bounded almost like a line. It almost looks like they were clear cut. And then you have these grassy open areas. And so, it might be close to one of these open areas. And even though it's relatively open, if you don't know where to look, if you don't know the signs on the ground to tell you where you are, you'll walk right over it. That I can tell you.
Okay. So when you're taking pictures and shooting video, of this expedition.
Yeah.
I think of like Howard Carter, and the people standing behind him as he's peeking in for the first time. They're like, "Okay, so what do you see?" And the pictures that were taken on that day, was it that kind of moment for you? And were you astonished about what you saw? And
Well, I mean, yes. I mean, this is very humbling. I mean, you realize, I mean, we have a lot of fun and we joke, and, I've been, doing this stuff for a long time, but I always keep in mind that this is very sensitive. This is very sacred, that there's a big responsibility that goes along with this. And, we can joke and have fun, but, there are some pretty big things that are hanging in the balance here. And we're working on another project that, at this conference, I revealed something that I had not talked about before, a scroll that is called the Jesus or the Yeshua scroll, which is Jesus's real name. His name wasn't Jesus, of course. And what's in this scroll is some pretty earth-changing information. And that scroll is something we're going to be looking for in the very near future, like within weeks. And whether we find the original, we have a copy of it and we've decoded it. It's an encrypted message. If I showed you the message, you'd look at it and go, I have no idea what that is. But the message is world changing.
Okay, that's for another show. Let's stay on the vault. Let's stay on the vault for a second.
But my point is this. My point is this. They're connected.
Well, of course they're connected. Well, I've always, Scott, I've always assumed, and I could be wrong, but if that scroll exists and it's in North America and it was brought here by the Templars, then it's in that vault in Montana. That's my
there's
take.
Probably scrolls in there too.
Okay. So back to that. Was it, is stuff stacked up in there? I've asked you this question before, but is it organized, and undisturbed? What is there? And did you get images of it?
Okay. So when Carter went into King Tut's tomb and you've seen those pictures, do you get the impression that stuff was just tossed in there or that it was carefully placed?
Are you saying that this vault is stuffed? Like King Tut's tomb was stuffed?
I just asked you a question. Now you got.
I wasn't there, Scott. I wasn't there. You were there.
Pictures. You've seen the pictures. Surely you've seen the pictures of King Tut's when they went in and they took pictures before they touched anything. Did you see that? Have you seen those pictures?
So you're saying, well, I'm picturing now that this vault is like that. Is that what you're saying? It's just stuffed to the brim with thousands of things?
What I'm saying is that this was a very important sacred mission, and everything was handled with great care. And it wasn't just tossed in. Things weren't piled on top of each other. In fact, things are typically placed in an order. There's a reason why this is here, that's there, that an ark might be here. All this is part of a ritual, and so it's all carefully handled.
Right, and you did see the ark. And let's back up. If you look at the original images of King Tut's tomb, you can barely see his sarcophagus, right? I mean, it's in there, right?
Yeah.
You've got the chariot, you've got his throne, and I think they cataloged, what did they catalog? 10,000 objects were.
It was a lot. It was a lot. Yeah.
And that's a small tomb, right? It wasn't like, KV-14.
It was packed.
KV-77. Yeah. And it was packed to the brim.
And Jimmy, let me ask you a question now. Okay. So we're talking about King Tut's tomb, 10,000 objects, whatever, placed in there with purpose, with meaning. And what happened? people died, right? There was a curse. Do you remember that?
I do.
Okay.
Do you know that it was a press release last week that some of the proteins from King Tut's curse can be used to cure cancer? And right now they are looking into that, like it eats cancer. How crazy is that? That press release came out last week.
I don't think that's crazy at all. In fact, I think the cure for cancer has probably been around a long time, but there are certain powers that be that don't want cures for things like diabetes and cancer and all these other horrible diseases, because there's too much money made in treating them, in keeping people sick. I know it's sick to talk about that, but it's the truth. I mean, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. So,
but wouldn't you like to
if there was a virus in King Tut's tomb or something that is connected to possibly curing cancer, it wouldn't surprise me. But what would surprise me is if somehow it got out and was, put into the community, the world community, to help heal people. That I don't see happening, because who wants to cure cancer when you can make more money treating it? It's just sick. But I'm sure there's a cure already for diabetes. My daughter's a type 1 diabetic, and it breaks my heart to know that, she needs this medicine to live. And there's probably a cure out there, and there's probably been a cure for a long time. So none of this would surprise me, Jimmy. None of it.
Yep. Now, when we look back, I just brought up Howard Carter. And his name will be out there in this discussion for millennia.
Yeah.
Certainly one of the biggest discoveries in human history. This Lewis and Clark lost vault. And if you are the guy, that would be pretty cool to have Scott Wolter talked about in the same terms as Howard Carter for a while, to be tied into this discovery and bringing this to the world. That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
Well, Jimmy, I say to people, if you want to be famous, careful what you wish for, because you might get it. And, it's nice to have people say nice things about you. And I think for the most part, people do appreciate some of the things that we've done. But this is not about me. This is not about
it's not about you. But what I'm saying is, it's that important to the world. The discovery of King Tut's tomb and what that brought to the world was absolutely amazing. Howard Carter was a big part of that. And this secret tomb or vault, I should say, in Montana could have the same impact on the world. And you could be that guy. I think that's pretty cool.
Well, I'll let other people decide those kinds of things. But the bottom line is, this has to be handled very carefully. And I haven't even had a chance to have an in-depth discussion with Tim yet. But that's the next thing that I'm going to be doing, and what the next steps are. But yeah, I think it would be important for people to actually see this. And look, we've already got artifacts that are all over North America that tell us that the Templars were here, that they came from Europe. Obviously, the Templars are connected with the Holy Land, and the very birth of Christianity that the Templars and their ancestors are directly connected to. So to have them coming over to North America, placing things like the Kensington Runestone, building things like the Newport Tower, bringing these artifacts and treasures over here, and eventually founding, as part of that mission, the United States of America. That mission was called the Covenant. Actually right now, that Covenant is being tested. I'm confident that it's going to survive, but right now things are tough, and this was predicted. And frankly, because of all the turmoil that's happening in the world right now, this is one of the reasons why the tradition that I'm part of is trying to decide when is the right time to bring these truths out.
Now is the right time. Now is
well, it is now, but we're talking about, like this month, 6 months, a year, tomorrow. I think timing is going to play a very important role. There's just so much chaos happening right now that
artifacts,
for the right moment, right?
See, artifacts have a way of not only preserving the past, but they are things that we can touch and feel. I'll show you a few things that I have. I've never shown you before. This is from Nazca in Peru. It's somewhere between 7,000 and 10,000 years old, and it is a carving. Let me see if I can. Let me change cameras. Maybe this is a little better.
Oh, there
and
we
you can see the eyes are closed.
Yep. Yeah, I can see them. Hold it right there. Right there.
Yeah.
Right
You can see that the eyes are closed, and it kind of reminds you a little bit of Maria, the mummy, right? The Peruvian mummy.
Yep.
And it's got a face on the front. And
yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, this is absolutely incredible. Now,
the
manganese is.
Do you remember the movie? I think it was Alien, where the thing came out of the guy's chest and it just blew your mind.
A little bit.
It looks like that a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little bit like that. Now, this is really, really old, and it feels almost. It's very heavy.
Is that okay, Jimmy? Let me ask you a question. I've seen one like that before.
Yeah, we have a friend that has one.
A mutual friend that has that.
This came from the same archaeological dig.
When I looked at their piece, I have not seen yours in the flesh, but when I looked carefully at theirs, that piece looked to me like it was carved out of a meteorite, possibly.
Yeah, that's what I think this is too. I don't have a magnet in here. I haven't checked it, but anyway. But this, and to hold this and to look at it, I mean, this is so old. It's got little nostrils in the front, too, which is really bizarre. So I have this, but I love having stuff that I can touch and look.
And
feel. So I have this. Now check this out.
That's cool.
Since you're into this kind of stuff, this again about the same age, around 5,000 to 7,000 years old. This is a little frog, and
put it up closer to your face, and then we can see it. There you go. You can put it closer to the camera, but
it gets out of the lights. It gets out of the
right
lights.
there. I can see it though.
But you can see his little paws in the front, and his eyes are on the side. But it's a little froggy.
Where'd you get these things?
Man, I can't say.
Oh, okay, fine. I have to tell you all my secrets about the ball. You can't tell me about a frog?
Yeah. Man, I had to smuggle this stuff out of the country. So, but yeah, isn't that cool? Now check this.
Very cool. It's very
cool. Are you ready? You know what a mortar and pestle is? You know what a mortar and pestle is?
I do.
Check this out. This is freaking old.
Ooh. And you know what that was used for? To make
probably makeup.
No, not makeup. This was used to make concoctions like ayahuasca.
Oh, for sure.
Or something that would be a sacred hallucinogenic whatever, and you would ingest it or smell it, take it somehow, and then you would trip and you would go to other planets and meet your inner self and have a wonderful experience. I bet you that's what that was for.
And to hold something like this that is thousands and thousands of years old, it's incredible. The vibration, where has this been? And how many families?
If that little thing could talk, what stories it would tell.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane. And
well, Jimmy,
that smell of old rock. Okay, I'm saving the best for last. You ready?
Okay, hold on. Show me yours, and I'll show you mine.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You ready? Check this out. I've got more, but Are you ready?
I'm ready.
What I'm about to show you is a Birdface goddess. This is from the Indus Valley. And again, this is from 3000 BC. It's been tested. The manganese has seeped in, and the aging is there, and the dating is correct. It's 3000 BC from the Indus Valley. I've got it in a little stand that I built for it. But check this beauty out.
Oh, look at her.
Man, she is just absolutely incredible. And
yeah.
And she's seated.
Pull
right?
it back just a skosh. It's out of focus right there. Okay, now we can
she's incredible. And here, I'll take it out of the stand. Let me take it out of the stand.
Be careful. Be careful.
Yeah. Oh, it's look at her.
Wow.
She's absolutely incredible.
Well endowed too. Holy cow.
Yeah, she is. And then so she's wearing a mask. So when you turn it around, you can see her hair and you can see the mask on the back, and she's seated. And there were 3 of these. This is the only one that had the arm. The other arm is broken off.
Yeah, I saw it's broken there.
There was 3 that were available to me. And the other 2, the arms were broken.
What's the material? What's it made of?
Ceramic.
Oh, it's ceramic.
Yeah.
No, so it's been fired. It's fired.
Yeah, it's fired. It's totally dated. You can see the manganese that's seeped in on this leg. This leg is clear, but yeah, so it's been totally dated.
Where
was
it found like in a grave or what?
I can't get into specifics. You know how that kind of stuff is. I know the archaeologist.
I just have to ask the question, Counsel.
Yeah, this was pulled out of the ground about 50 years ago, and it was part of a collection. And yeah, so it's all been dated and stuff. But this type of figurine, this Birdface goddess, is all over that part of the Indus Valley. And so you can see many of them. But now I actually have one, and this is 5,000 years old.
That's incredible.
How crazy is that, man?
Okay, Jimmy, let me just make sure that you're doing something. And I'm serious about this. When you get artifacts like this, write down the information. I mean, sometimes you'll get a little info card.
Oh, I have everything documented.
Write this stuff down, because someday you and I are going to be gone, and people are going to pick that up and go, "What the F is this?"
Yeah, I have the original documentation from the archaeologist. And I have all of that. I mean, this is going to my daughter. You know, this is hers.
Aw.
You know.
Hey, can I show you something that's 1.1 to 1.2 billion years old?
What?
Billion. With a B.
Okay, let's see. Yeah. Wow. Wow, that's pretty crazy.
Is that not beautiful?
Is that North America?
That's Minnesota.
Minnesota, yeah.
This is our state gemstone. It formed inside the North Shore Volcanic Series in Lake Superior. And those lavas formed 1.1 to 1.2 billion years ago.
Yeah, it's
These
crazy.
Formed inside the gas pockets that formed inside the lavas. Silica came in layer by layer and filled that vesicle into this agate. And then over the billions of years of weathering, these things weathered out. And then 2 million years ago, the glaciers formed over what is now Hudson Bay and traveled down into Minnesota and the northern states, picked them up in Lake Superior, tumbled them naturally. And when we go and find them in the gravel pits, they look just like that.
Oh, that is just beautiful.
Isn't that cool?
That's crazy. Yeah, it is. It is beautiful.
1.1 billion.
So Scott,
yeah,
I'm going to tell everybody a story about Scott.
Wait a minute.
So we're in Cabo. We're down in Mexico. We're in Cabo.
Yeah.
And we just had, where did we go? Oh, we went to Sammy Hagar's club.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And we had lunch there. It was great. It was wonderful. So we're coming back. We all got our Cabo t-shirts and we're all in a great mood. And we're walking, and friggin' Scott. Okay, so this is what I have to. This is the shit I put up with. So everybody just listen to this. So we're walking, and it's myself, it's Sarah Breskman Cosme, and a couple of other of our friends.
Katie
and we're
Norris.
Right? Yeah, I guess so. I guess so.
With us. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we're walking, and Scott looks down into the ocean, into the rocks next to us, and goes, "Look at those rocks." And I go, "Scott, stop. And Scott runs down into the rocks. He's in the water.
My hands were in the water.
And he's knee deep in the water. And he pulls up this rock and he goes, "Look." And I go, "Scott, I don't give a shit. Get out of the water." "No, this is important, man." I go, "Scott, it's a rock." "No, but Jimmy, you got to understand." I'm looking around at everybody like, are they watching what this guy is doing? Jumping into the port, the Bay of Cabo.
It was a great rock.
It was a great rock.
Rock.
And Scott was so mad at me. He put the rock down in the water, gets out. "Man, Jimmy, you don't understand. Get out of the water."
What did you just show us? You were down in Peru and you showed us your rock.
But here's the point, though, that I'm making. You have a passion about this, man. It's a passion. Yeah. So much so that you're just going to go and jump into the water and pull something out and show it to us.
Yeah.
It was so funny. I'm just being the camp counselor. Get out of the water. Get up here. Get back with the group.
Dad.
Put that rock down. Put that rock down.
So Jimmy, I do want to just for a second. Can we just divert for a second?
Sure. It's your show. I'm just some guy.
All right. So you and I have already talked about this, and this recently came to my attention that a researcher, a woman who lives, I believe it's in Scotland, her father left her a painting. And this is the painting right here on the cover of her book. And I'm not trying to sell her book, but I haven't even read it because it just showed up here yesterday. And I've actually started reading another book, and now I'm going to tackle this one. But when we look at this painting,
what do you see?
She believes this was painted by Da Vinci, that it's a lost Da Vinci painting. And you and I talked about this. And frankly, I don't know if it's a Da Vinci or not. It would be damn cool if it was, especially for her. But even if it's not, it doesn't matter. Because when I look at this painting, I see things as an initiated Templar that tells me that the person that did this painting was also initiated. Now, you want me to just spill the beans on this?
Yeah. I mean, what is it that you see?
Okay. Well, there's a number of things that I see. First and foremost, the woman has auburn hair. She's wearing the symbolic colors of Mary Magdalene, green and red or orange, typically orange, but oftentimes it's red. That is Mary Magdalene without a doubt. Now, the other thing that might be hard for some people to see, but it's easy for me to see, is one of the signs of recognition of somebody like Da Vinci that would have known this, called the M sign, which looks like this. Okay. Now, if you look at her hands very carefully, you will see a veiled M sign. You see how that little finger is crooked?
I do. I see it.
You see the middle finger and ring finger are extended. That is an M sign, but that's one that's veiled. In other words, you have to really look carefully to see it. She also has another veiled M sign in her hand that's being partially covered by the child. So those are two M signs, which stand for Mary Magdalene, and that's who that is. So this woman is supposed to be Mother Mary, I assume, in this painting, meaning the Virgin Mary, but that's not who it is. It's Mary Magdalene. And so a lot of people believe that this is supposed to be Mother Mary and Jesus as a child and John the Baptist as a child. But there's a big problem here. if this is Mary Magdalene, how can these two children be Jesus and John the Baptist? They were contemporaries in age. That's not possible. So those children are not Jesus and John the Baptist, which begs the question, who are they?
Yeah. Okay. Who are they?
Well,
I'm going to pull up the image really quick.
Okay.
And
pull up Virgin on the Rocks, because that was.
I'm going to pull up her painting.
Okay, pull up her painting,
which is here.
Okay.
All right. So there it is.
Okay, it's hard to see on my screen. There's like a blue filter on it.
Huh?
Can you get the blue filter off?
There's no blue filter. This is straight off of the cover of her book.
Okay, but what the audience is seeing is a blue filter.
I don't think so.
Yeah, hold on, Jimmy. Let me show you.
No, I think you've got some polarized.
Here's what we're seeing.
Scott, stay focused. Don't worry about the blue filter.
Okay. Well, it's hard for me to see, but anyway,
it's clear as a bell out here on the web.
Okay, now look at the child, the naked child's head, and look to the right of its head. Do you see that fleur de lis?
I do.
And if you look at the very top of his head, just to the left of that veil, there is another, very hard to see, but there is another fleur de lis, and there's actually another one that's very hard to see coming out the left side of the head. So that is another telltale sign of the tradition. You also notice that the John the Baptist child is pointing to the lamb.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or is he holding on to? Looks like he's grabbing the blanket.
No, he's not. He's pointing to that lamb. The lamb is symbolic of the age of Aries, and John the Baptist was the last astronomer priest, the last pharaoh, the last grand master of the age of Aries the ram. And the new king that ushered in the new age of Pisces the fish was a guy named Jesus, who was born of the Lamb of God. And that means he was born in the final few years of the age of Aries the ram. Now, let's get back to who these.
I have this high-res image that I have here, and I'm blowing it up.
Yep.
If you get a high-res image, Scott, and you probably will, it looks like John the Baptist is holding the cloth. I don't think he's pointing. You could see the thumb is wrapping around the back of the cloth. I have a high-res scan here that I'm looking at. Now, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
There's a lot of symbolism here. The fleur de lis, that's obvious. And why would it be painted? Is it part of Mary, or is it like some kind of piece of jewelry that's stuck in the hair of Jesus? Well, I don't know. But it's at a weird angle.
Yeah, it's really funny. And there's actually two more there, but they're very hard to see. But anyway, the point is this. If that is Mary Magdalene.
She's got a halo. She does have a halo.
That's right. So she's part of the royal family.
Right.
Which in itself is heretical. But who are those two kids? Because that's not Jesus and John the Baptist. So who are they? You ready?
Well, I'm on the edge of my seat.
This is the secret that's embedded within this painting. And it's also embedded within the Virgin on the Rocks. The child on the left, the John the Baptist child, is her child that she had with John the Baptist, because she was married to John the Baptist before she married Jesus. Now, a lot of people are going to go, what the F are you talking about?
Yeah, it sounds pretty crazy.
Well, let me just tell you, in the Essenic tradition of that time period, of which these people were a part of, to be a rabbi at that time, you were required to be married. And you were required to have a son for succession. You couldn't be a rabbi in the Essenic tradition without being married and having a son. Now, Mary Magdalene was married to John the Baptist. They had a son. His name was Jesus. When John the Baptist was beheaded, because the priestly line in that tradition went through the feminine, a family member of John the Baptist was obligated to marry her, and that was Jesus. Actually, his name was Yeshua. And they had a child, a son, and his name was Judah. And that's him right there in the center of that painting. And I know we don't have time to go into it unless you want to, but you remember the Telpiat tomb in Jerusalem?
Of course.
What did one of the ossuaries say? Judah.
You tell me, don't trip me up with your Scott Wolter questions. Just tell me what it said.
Jimmy, you got to earn it, man. You're sitting there busting my chops. I'm going to bust yours.
Scott, how many shows have we done on this? A lot. Okay. So I know it all. I know it all. Just please tell the audience what is there. But to suggest, okay, let's back up. I think you made a very important statement there. Yes. If that is Jesus and John the Baptist, and that's Mary Magdalene, we got a problem with years here.
Yes.
That doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
So, okay, but it makes even less sense if that's Judah. I mean,
no, it doesn't. No, that's her son. That's her firstborn son. Well, her firstborn son was Jesus with John the Baptist, and her second son is Judah right there. Pull up, Jimmy.
No. I don't have time to do that right now, but I want to stay on this image. Okay, if we can. So who is on the left?
On the far left is Jesus, the son that she had with John the Baptist.
Not Jesus, but Jesus.
Jesus.
Right? He's holding a cross. It looks like a staff, but
he's wearing a wool shawl. That's symbolic of John the Baptist, and that's all symbolic of the age of Aries the ram. A wool shawl comes from a sheep, right? And normally he's carrying a crozier, which is used to herd the sheep. These are all symbols of the age of Aries the ram. Just like Akhenaten and King Tut are holding the flail, which herds the bulls, the followers of Taurus, Taurus the bull, the old religion, and then the crozier herds the rams, the sheep of Aries, the new age. That's why Akhenaten and King Tut are holding those things, because they came into power when the age changed from Taurus the bull to Aries the ram. And these two guys were important because they represent the change from Aries the ram to Pisces the fish. Make sense?
What's the symbolism? Why is he holding a cross? Now, I know that this is a Renaissance painting. This is done, 1,500 years after the crucifixion.
I can tell you why. The reason is they don't want to be too obvious with the symbolism here. Now, the other thing that's going on is, do you see Mary Magdalene is holding a plant in her left hand?
Yeah, she's got a flower or something. Yeah.
Well, it kind of looks like a poppy to me, but I don't know that for sure. But I'm just speculating. If that's a poppy plant, that is used to make a drug, and oh God, what do they call it? I can't remember now. I'm drawing a blank. But
heroin.
Many people believe that this poppy was spiked in the drinks that were given to the guards when Jesus supposedly was put into the tomb for 3 days. Now, I don't even know if that happened, but we have some documents that talk about that they were drugged and they were put to sleep. And that's when Jesus was spirited out of there, and he was not dead, but that's a whole other story.
Could be.
But that's what that plant could represent.
It looks a little, to me, it looks a little sloppy to be Da Vinci. The hands, the faces, the eyes, the feet, the legs, the human form is doesn't have the Da Vinci flair. There's something missing there, especially in Mary's hand that's holding the flower, with the M symbol.
It's
That's
real
not,
awkward, isn't it? It's awkward.
Da Vinci was never wrong with his hands.
Well,
Never. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah,
he had a way to.
And Jimmy, my point here is not to argue that it's a Da Vinci. You could be, you're probably right. It's not a Da Vinci, but it doesn't matter.
No, you know why it does. You know why it does matter to me is who was the artist,
right?
And what was their background, and what was the purpose of the painting.
Well,
it's not if it's a Da Vinci or not. I don't think it's Da Vinci, but there's something else that is. There's a message here, and if we find out who the actual artist was, then you can jump into that background and see why they did this. And there are other works of art that they had also.
Well, what I see here, Jimmy, is somebody who was deeply initiated with secrets and understood the mysteries almost as well as Da Vinci. And Da Vinci was a grand master. So whoever this person was, they knew exactly what they were doing, and they're hiding explosive secrets in this painting that are the same secrets that are hidden in the Da Vinci painting, the first version of Virgin on the Rocks. And there's some other things going on in that painting that we could talk about another time. But that's why I'm so turned on by this painting, because the secrets that I tried to reveal in my book a few years ago, nobody caught, and with Virgin on the Rocks, and I explained it. But people, it just went right over their heads. I understand how confusing this is, but you see what I'm telling you, don't you?
I do. What is that fleur-de-lis? That's a head scratcher.
Yeah.
As I scratch my head, I'm like,
Well, there's actually two more around that head. They're very hard to see, but they are there.
I'll look at them. I have a high-res scan of it here. I'm going to take a closer look. Scott, what are you working on now? What's next?
Well, the next thing I have coming up this weekend is Moose Lake Agates, and it's the biggest, rock show of the year for these agates, and it's just a gas. And one of the fun things that they do, I got to tell you about this for the kids. They call it the Agate Stampede, and what they do is they take a dump truck and they fill it up with gravel, but they spike it with agates, with coins, with medallions, and who knows what else. And then they dump it out on the main street of Moose Lake, Minnesota. And then they blow off a horn, and all the kids and adults too go running into this mass. And it's just a panic, and they're looking for the agates and they're looking for the coins. And it's just a gas. It's really fun. And there's going to be dealers there. It's going to be and I'm going to be there. I'll be selling books and, hoping that somebody comes walking in with a good one and says, "What do you give me for this one?" And then it's on, baby. It's just a gas.
Yeah, you're such a rock star. So, I give my best to Haley and everything else. And I'm sure she is.
Yeah.
And I do want to let everybody know that Haley and I, we're going to be doing a Monty Python and the Holy Grail, a tour of Scotland. And the links for that are below. We do have a few seats left, but it is 2026. And there's a lot of arrangements that have to be made in everybody's personal schedule and stuff. So I totally get that. But we do have a couple of seats left. And so click on the links below and let's go to the Bridge of Death together. We've got a lot of surprises on that tour, and Haley's absolutely amazing. And
yes, she is.
I think Scott, I don't know yet. You'll have to ask Haley. She's the boss, but I think there may be another event that I'll be doing with you guys over there in England. And it's not going to be a tour. I think it's going to be more of a conference.
It's going to be more of a conference. And if I have I might have this confused, but I think there's beyond Jimmy Church. And any conference that has Jimmy Church is a big deal. but there might be a special guest that shows up at that conference. I can't say who it is yet, but you're going to want to sign up for this conference. It's going to be amazing, and there's going to be a lot of people there. So, Jimmy, everybody that comes is going to be able to see you in your element, to get up there and basically make everybody in that room your best friend, because somehow you have this magic. I don't know how the hell you do it, but
smoke and mirrors, Scott. It's smoke and mirrors. It's smoke and mirrors. Smoke and mirrors, my friend. But I look forward to 2026, and I can't wait to hang out with you and Haley again here very soon. Let's make that happen. Scott, all the best, my friend. Great conversation tonight. Thank you so much,
man. And you know what? You just keep doing things the right way like you are. And next time we go to Montana, you're going with us.
We're gonna take a film crew and a deck of cards. Scott, behave, man. I'll talk to you, brother. Thank you so much.
See you later.
Scott Wolter, everybody. Always a great conversation. He is the absolute very best. All of Scott's links are below. You can do that. His website and also his blog spot, which is amazing. And if you click on the links below for the tour of Scotland, all of Haley's tours are there too as well when you visit her website. So I'll see everybody tomorrow night. We've got a little schedule change for tomorrow, which is Preston Dennett is with us tomorrow. Dr. Heather Lynn had to move and reschedule. So Preston Dennett is going to be here. Always great when Preston comes on and has a conversation. That's tomorrow night. Until then, all I've got is go backly tappy. Fade to Black is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee Newman, and Michelle Freed. Special thanks to Bill, John, Dex, Jessica, Dennis, and Kevin. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music by Doug Aldrich. Intro, Space Boy. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2024 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Go backly tappy.